Hello everyone and welcome back to the Urban Yolk Homestead. My name is Julia. This week we have two little projects that we'll be sharing. Charles is working on one of our cast iron pots. He's essentially revamping it. And yeah, we'll go and have a look at what he's up to in a little bit. I'll be working on, well, sweet and sour pork. It's a dish that has been requested by a family member, guest that will be staying with us this weekend. It's very exciting, but also kind of daunting. It's the first time I will be doing it. It seems like a fairly simple sort of dish to do, so I'm not too worried about the actual technique that is required. But nonetheless, when you're not used to making something, it's always a bit daunting, It's something new and you've got to try it a few times before you really present it to people. But considering that life's a bit of a gamble, why not? So let's get into it, and I'll see you in the kitchen. Alright, so we are here in the kitchen and we're going to be making sweet and sour pork. As I said, there's a little twist to this one, but first of all let's start with the meat. So here I've got some pork neck and about 200 to 300 grams of pork neck, which we'll be using as our base essentially. And the other side of the sweet and sour pork will be warthog. So for those of you who haven't heard of warthog, I'll leave a picture up for you to see that. And basically we're just doing the two batches to test it out and see which one is actually, well, maybe not necessarily better, but what the different flavor is like. This is not a recipe that I'm particularly familiar with in terms of cooking, but I have had it quite a few times, either at restaurants or other people's homes. I'm going to be following a recipe or following someone's version of it. I will leave a link to their channel up in the corner as well as down in the description so you can see and refer to what we were actually using. And I guess let's get into the meat. I'm going to be chopping the meat into sort of, medium to smallish size cubes, and then putting on a nice marinade and letting that sit for a little while before we, go into the crisping side of it. Because I'm working with meat and my sink or my basin's a little far away, I've actually just got some warm soapy water here and a dishcloth so that I can take care of my hands while we are working. Okay, so let's get into chopping and then we'll get into the details of the marinade. I'm just taking this piece off because it's a very hard kind of fat, so it won't do very nicely, when it cooks. It won't actually be very nice in this specific style. Alright guys, now well, we've got our warthogs cut up and we've got our pork cut up. Well, a pig and a warthog, both pork essentially. Now let's get to the marinade part. Right, we're going to start off with a tablespoon of soy or light soy. Let's get that in. 1 tablespoon this side and 1 tablespoon that side. And then we've got, I believe it's pronounced shaoxing wine. I had to ask for this. Also a tablespoon. That goes in. It's got a very porty sort of, you know, like port or liqueur kind of smell. It's quite sweet. Very sweet wine kind of odor. And then just get my measurements. Sorry, I need to open this one up. I'm not keen on being opened. Okay, there we go. And then half a tablespoon of sesame oil. There we go. And there we go. And then for each we want about 1.5 or 1.5 tablespoons of oyster sauce. So 1. Not the easiest sort of stuff to work with, but it's delicious. Okay, so 1 that side. There we go. Okay, so that is 1.5 each. And then we're going to put 1 egg white in each of these. So let's get our eggs. Go. Oops. Put the egg yolks aside for something tomorrow. Get out of here, things. Egg whites are in, and then it's a tablespoon of cornflour. So I get the cornflour out. I want to give that a really good stir, get it all mixed up. It smells very, very flavoursome. I'm actually really looking forward to this. Alright, got our meat marinating, so that's just going to go for a little while. I'm probably going to leave it for about half an hour or so, half an hour to an hour, here just at room temperature, and then we'll get into the rest of it. For the time being, why don't we go ahead and see what Charles is up to with our cast iron pot and see how far he has gotten. So moving on to the next part, while the oil in the wok behind me is busy heating up, we're going to coat the pork in tapioca flour. I'm going to start with the pork neck that we have and coat that and then get it frying.
by Brazil. They just do whatever. Our guy is the kind of DJ of the. He does a similar thing every now and then, but he does it live, and only live, and it's just whenever.
Okay, so now essentially the prep work is done and the fun part can begin. We'll get all of the ingredients that we need in for the sauce and put in the now fried pork and then serve. Yay! Okay. 1 tablespoon of plum sauce. Yummy.